right. Welcome to another installment of Fragments Silicon Reviews. We are having, specifically Petty Fan is having technical issues this session. He's having some audio connection issues. So what's going on right now is you should be able to hear us on the stream, but you might not be able to hear him or any of his audio. We're not exactly sure why this is happening. We've been spending the past half an hour trying to figure out this problem. It's been a recurring problem, but it's not an every time problem. We're not sure if it's Skype or Petty Fan's headset or something else. So bear with us as we try to muscle through these issues. Anyway, first up in our review queue this week is a game called Slime San. I got to admit, I'm not exactly sure why we have a Japanese honorific here.
I mean, it's consistent throughout the game. All of your family members are such and such San. And in the non-stage areas, there's a vaguely Japanese theme. One of the areas is like an Akihabara reference. So,
I'm just not sure why it's there. Especially as I guess San is just because that's the equivalent of, say, well, maybe not the equivalent, but we really don't have time to go into the nuances of the Japanese honorific.
It's Mr. Slime. He's the father in the family, so.
Yeah, it's like San is basically the most common honorific you would give. But aside from that, this game has less to do with, anything Japanese. And, in terms of gameplay, it's Super Meat Boy. I'm gonna lay that card on the table right here.
There are a few gimmicks. You can do a little bit more than you can do in Meat Boy. I don't know if Meat Boy has a full-on dash like this does that you can even air dash. And it has a thing where you can phase through certain platforms, but otherwise, basically, it's the same kind of jumping, bouncing off walls and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Although I guess the more surprising thing is how there aren't more Super Meat Boy clones on the market, given how popular that game was, in the not too recent past. I mean, it's kind of died down now, but that's after 7 years or so of release. Seriously, Super Meat Boy has been out for a long time. But in terms of aesthetic, this thing is a lot more European. I'm let's see if anyone else knows what this game, what the art style is going for here.
It definitely looks like something that doesn't have a lot of bits.
The answer is the ZX Spectrum.
Yeah, it has 3 different colorblind modes, but the default colors are green, pink, and blue.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure if it's an exact one-to-one recreation of the ZX Spectrum art style, but it's definitely close enough to where I picked it up.
Green is you, your slime trail, and some NPCs and stuff. Blue is the stage generally, and yellow is kills you.
Also, red or magenta.
Or pink is kills you. I mean, yeah. And
that's
then your bird friend is white, but that's it.
Yeah, like I said, it's an 8-bit retro aesthetic. We don't see all that often, and when Americans see it, they're not really going to know unless they've done some research or watch a lot of, say, British YouTubers or something like that. That's how I know what ZX Spectrum games look like. Yeah, because the ZX Spectrum, I'm not sure it was even a thing over here at all. I think they might have made a passing attempt at reaching the market, but like not it went nowhere if it did. But in the UK and certain other places in continental Europe, from what I remember, the ZX Spectrum was really popular, given how inexpensive it was, and the games looked pretty primitive, even in comparison to other 8-bit computers of the day. Like, you put up a ZX Spectrum game against, say, a Commodore 64 game, the differences are pretty pronounced. Because the Commodore 64 had an actual color wheel, for example, whereas the ZX Spectrum had a lot more limitations in regards to colors, and that could lead to some really bad aesthetics. But before we go down too far down this rabbit hole, we should get back to the game. So the premise of Slime Sana is absurdly simple. It's even more simple than, say, Super Meat Boy. Like,
you are a slime. You have been eaten by worm. Get out of worm.
That's pretty much it. It's just the worm has very odd levels.
Yes.
It's like, and each world is about 50 levels. I'm thinking.
Yeah, each level is 4 stages/screens.
Yeah, it's like about 4. Yeah, it's 4 stages, and in keeping with the ZX Spectrum dynamic, each room is just a single room. Like, these are micro levels. You maybe later on in the game, there's going to be more elaboration, or on the boss levels.
Certainly, it doesn't hold to that limitation outside of.
Yes.
Oh no. Well, one of the stages that I got to does have, and I'm sure you got to this one too. It's pretty early.
Like,
it's a bigger thing, and you can zoom in and out.
Oh yeah. That I do remember. I'll admit I did not spend a lot of time with this game, about an hour, mainly because, well, the other game we're reviewing this week took up a lot more time than I expected, and also, while there's a lot to this game, its core mechanics are absurdly simple.
Yeah, the basic gameplay, I mean, it's pretty solid as a Super Meat Boy imitator. Honestly, I was more interested in the amount of stuff. In each stage, in each room, there is an apple.
Mm-hmm.
You collect the apples and then use them to buy things, such as other playable characters, or costumes, or cosmetic screen filters, or things on the or side art, or like 4 other games.
Right. Yeah. So a bit on the character selection. I've seen this in other games, where the character or the avatar you select changes the playstyle of the character. Like,
it's a la Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
So there's basic slime can jump, dash, and stuff. There are characters that are faster but slipperier. There are characters who can double jump but can't dash. There are characters who are constantly dashing and can't stop.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that it's going to take a bit to unlock the characters, because they cost, I think the minimum was 10 apples, and you can only you can only get 4 apples per level. Like, it's an apple a room. So there probably are more opportunities to get more apples, I'm thinking. Like,
in playing around in the one of the options is you can explore Slime's neighborhood playing as San. In exploring that, I found there's 1 apple on a tree to the left of the house, and then exploring way to the right, I found Grandpa San, who is dead. I think he has a halo and he's kind of floating in a glow thing, and there were like 8 apples next to him.
Yeah.
Just you get over there and you can pick them up. And there are probably some in crap, what's it called? Something Town. The shop area. There are a lot of NPCs in the overworld where you can buy upgrades and stuff. So I would not be surprised if there were some apples hidden there too.
Yeah. I'm like, well, like Petty Fan right now is showing off, I think, one of the water stages.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like, and he's dying a lot. Like I said, I'll be honest. The other reason I didn't put a lot of time into Slime Son here is because I, in general, don't like this kind of gameplay style.
Yeah, it's not my favorite either.
No, it's like, I'll be honest. It infuriates me pretty quickly. So I think
the restarts are quick and painless, like in Meat Boy.
Yeah,
but I don't really care for that kind of gameplay mostly.
Yeah, I will say it has the right kind of flow.
There is also one of the things in the town. There is a place where you can like explore, like practice different maneuvers, and there are some challenge rooms to do with that.
Right. Not only are there challenge rooms, but there are like completely different mini games.
Yeah, that too.
That you unlock.
I was talking about the dojo, not the arcade.
Right. The dojo has some challenge rooms, that are, that are kind of hard. Like I tried one of them, and that was painful.
These swimming controls are giving me flashbacks to the NES TMNT. Save me.
Oh, but yeah. Okay, but now when in regards to the mini games, they're in the arcade, and they require the other currency coins.
Yeah, which are harder to find than apples, I think.
Right,
and they may only be able to be found on replaying levels.
I only found one in the side room.
Oh.
Okay, so they're hiding.
Yeah, I'm like. So.
But yeah, these are completely different games with completely different visual styles.
Yeah, it's like one of them's a kart racer, another one's like a Zelda clone.
One of them had 3D graphics, I swear.
Yes, like, well, it's important to remember that Slime Son here is going for an aesthetic, not an actual.
No, but it's just so weird to see stuff that is so different from that aesthetic inside the same game. Especially going up, like it wasn't weird to see 8-bit style games in Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been weird to see Splatoon in a retro styled 8-bit game.
I suppose you're. I suppose you're accurate in that regard.
Well, it's honestly, an opinion. It's opinion. Yours might differ.
Yeah, I'm like, it honestly didn't bother me. Like, but yeah. So in terms of content here, there are 100 levels made out of 400 rooms initially. That's the base game, and then there is a new game plus, which adds another 200 levels and 400 rooms.
Jeez, that is a lot of game.
Yeah, it's like, I suppose it depends on how you look at it. I feel like, is it really all that much when you consider how condensed everything is? I'm talking about it's like if everything is just single room here.
True.
Like, it's like it's not going to be that long. Like the length of the game is less material than how you're playing through the content. To elaborate, this game is kind of based around time. Like you see a timer count down, and now nothing like you can take as much time as you want to complete each level, but
there is the pink tide of death.
Yeah, to a second timer. It's much more accurate to say there's two timers actually, because you've got the kind of there's this level timer that's keeping track of your best time, and that's across the 4 stages. And then there's the in-level timer, which is the digestive juices of the worm. And when that goes down to 0, red acid starts flowing in, and will kill you if you touch it.
You have a short time to finish the level after that.
Right. I'm just saying, in terms of the first timer, you have an infinite amount of time to complete it. Even if you die, and die you will, as you can see from the gameplay, you will restart in the same level, and the acid timer will go back to where it was, but the top timer will not. Now, at any rate, yes. Not only is there a lot of levels, but the overworld is very large and has a lot to explore.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was planning on spending more time with the actual levels, but when I found out that there was so much stuff in the town, I felt it would probably be more prudent to explore more of that and just to see what all the different stuff you can unlock is.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you don't feel like going through that, you can actually access all the functionality through the menu system.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you just want to go to the fucking costume shop, you can go to the costume shop with a couple of clicks. Or button presses, whatever you're using here. Let's see. The music is very chiptune style. I wouldn't specifically call it invoking anything specifically 8-bit, but it pairs well with the game.
Yeah, it's certainly not as bloopy as probably the ZX Spectrum, but
right.
ZX, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure if the ZX Spectrum has a distinct sound like, say, the Commodore 64 has. Like the Commodore 64, or say like the Genesis, or something like that.
Honestly, I was playing with the music down pretty low anyway, so.
I mean, the music's pretty pumping. So, and checking.
Yeah, from what I remember, it was pretty good. I just wasn't paying much attention to it.
Yeah, it's like I gotta admit, I don't know any of the people who have done this. Adhesive Wombat, Tiasu, Meganeko, Commissar, Richard Gould. If those names mean anything to you, I guess you'll enjoy the soundtrack even more. I'm guessing they're chiptune artists, but anyway, there's apparently over 10 composers contributed over 20 songs for the chiptune album here. I suppose the surprising thing is, given the size of that album, you can't get the soundtrack, at least not on Steam. Let me just pop over to see if it's on Bandcamp or something. ST. Let's see. Looks like it's on a thing. It's okay. The official soundtrack is called Vagus. It's on a subscription service called Kubi.
Never heard of it.
Apparently it's in Norway. I don't know what the hell, or I don't know what this is. Subscribe $3. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that it's not American.
Yeah, well, it's nothing about this is American.
Right.
This was made by I believe a European developer.
It felt kind of European. It's a little bit quirkier than.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Well, okay. Head Up Games is definitely German. They're the publisher, and they're a constant fixture on our show. And Fabraz is actually. It looks like they're set up like the Game Bakers, because drawing minds. In according to the PR, they're located in New York, Boston, Berlin, Zurich, and Bangkok. So it looks like they're like us. They're like just all over the world. I'm like, but yeah, it's like the aesthetics of everything here is definitely European, and the sound is definitely feels European, if that makes any sense. All right. Also, worth noting about the code situation for this one. So we got 3 codes. We got 3 codes for this eventually. Like, Head Up Games sent me a code a couple of months ago. Actually, they do that every now and again. Head Up Games did eventually provide. I believe it was the Galix with another code, and the developer.
I did get one.
Yeah, and the developer for Braz actually sent me a code, independent of Head Up Games, and I think Pettyfan got that one.
Ah, so they kind of came from all different places.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So, just laying that on the table, because usually, even if we don't mention it, usually, like, if we're reviewing a game, the code is usually provided. Just, throwing that there for future reference. Right. Anyway, getting back to the game itself, is there anything else we need major that we need to cover?
I don't know. I feel like aside from that, I was very surprised at how much outside of game stuff is. I think we've covered pretty much how the play works.
Yeah, I think we've given a good enough overview of the game. So finally, we come to price, and the price is, well, okay. First of all, okay, no to Head Up and for Braz. Make sure I'm pronouncing that right. I hate it when you for Braz. I guess it's for Braz. This is what happens when you see a word and you don't know how it's pronounced. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so note to Head Up Games and for Braz here. $11.99 in dollars is not $11.99 in euros. Okay, I'm like, believe me, I've heard a lot of Europeans complain about this sort of thing. Price parity, like $12. $12. I think is about like 10 something in euros. Mm-hmm. And it's even worse when they do this in Great British pounds.
Not as bad as it was before Brexit, but we'll get back to that.
I'm like, yeah. Point is, when you do a 1-to-1 conversion like this, Europeans end up paying more. It's why you convert from what $1 is worth versus $1 is worth €1. Now that's not the case. So just throwing that out there. Independent of that, oh, the soundtrack is on Steam? Like,
I'm seeing it.
Oh, shit!
It's under DLC for this game for $8.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah.
Anyway, $12. It's currently on sale. I don't know how until April 14th.
Right. April, which is which I want to say it's Wednesday. April.
It's Friday.
No, April 14th is Friday.
So anyway, it's on sale for 10% off right now, which I think at first I thought that was a little bit high before I played it and saw all the extra stuff. If this is a kind of game, and you would know this if you've played Super Meat Boy or something like this, yeah. I think that's a good price for the amount of stuff that's in this game if you intend to experience it fully.
Yeah, I gotta admit, $12 is a bit of an odd price point in and of itself, but I don't have a problem with this price point, given how, that's about on par with what Super Meat Boy was back in the day. And I'll be honest. I think if like Super Meat Boy had come out like a few years later, it would have been $15-$20. And also the soundtrack is $8, which might take some people by surprise. But considering there are 10 artists, like over 10 artists and over 20 tracks here, that price point is less surprising.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty beefy soundtrack. So
yeah, so I think everything here is priced appropriately. Like, and if you want to get it on a sale, well, it's on sale right now. Although I'll say,
not
10%.
a very big sale.
Yeah, it's like 10% is pretty negligible here because it's like $1, a little more, like maybe $1.20 here.
Yeah, $1.20.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean, if that's what's taking you to, not buy the game, like if you miss the sale and it goes up to $12, I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, get it here, get it, get it down, even if it's not on sale. It's just like, yeah, if you like Super Meat Boy, you will like Slime Son here. So any further final thoughts on this game?
I thought it was overall pretty cute and fun to play, even though it's not really my style of game.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Petty fans...
I do think it elaborates enough on Super Meat Boy to be worth it separately. It's not like it's just a Super Meat Boy expansion pack.
No. It's like mechanically it's pretty close, but it does enough, and it's certainly got its own aesthetic going to differentiate itself from that game. It's just if you're easy to aggravate, maybe look elsewhere.
Oh yeah, you will die a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, and that's kind of one of the keys to this game. It's replayability. Like, don't go in expecting that you're going to break par time out the gate. Hell, you might not even collect all the apples first time around.
Yeah, there were a few even in fairly early stages, like in stage 5 or 7 or something, where I just couldn't find some of them. Or rather, you could see them, but I couldn't get to any of them without dying. Yeah,
and Petty Fan's on one of the later levels, and yeah, they definitely get bigger, as I suspected they did. Or no. Or no, he's in the overworld, I think.
No, I think he's in levels, but you can zoom in.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point is, Slime Son is a solid experience, but, you may be a bit cautious if you don't have any patience. So, right. On that note, I think that'll about do it for this review. Be sure to tune in in a little bit as we review Blossom Tales. As I mentioned, it's a Zelda clone. More on that in its own review. So until such time, I wish you good gaming. Well, remember, Petty Fan's having audio problems. Bear with us.